Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, your channel dedicated to exploring the deeper meanings of life and how they can enrich our everyday experiences, particularly for those of us navigating the second half of life. Today, we're diving into a profound question that the Buddha contemplated: if life is just borrowed, what truly belongs to you? What if nothing is really ours? It's a thought-provoking starting point, not a puzzle to be solved immediately, but rather a question to gently contemplate. Think of it as a quiet bell ringing softly in the background of your life. Before we go deeper, please consider liking this video if you find this topic interesting and subscribing to the channel for more content on wisdom and well-being. The question is this: if everything I have, this body, my possessions, my relationships, is only temporary, then what, if anything, is truly mine? Now, before you dismiss this as a sad or depressing thought, let me assure you it's quite the opposite. It's not intended to diminish your joy or leave you feeling empty. In fact, this question can be the gateway to real freedom. It's only when we loosen our grip on what is fleeting that we can truly recognize what endures. Let's begin with something close and familiar: your own body, your own breath. The Buddha emphasized paying attention to what is present, right here, right now. He encouraged direct observation rather than blind belief. He pointed to anicca, or impermanence, the simple yet powerful truth that everything that arises will eventually pass away. This isn't due to some inherent flaw, it's simply the nature of all things that are born. To help us grasp this impermanence, the Buddha spoke of 5 constantly changing processes that make up what we perceive as a person. These processes are known in Pali as the Panchakanda, the 5 aggregates. These aren't just abstract Buddhist concepts, they're a mirror reflecting ourselves more honestly. First, there's the body, rupa, our physical form. The Buddha likened it to foam floating down a river. From a distance, it may seem solid and substantial. But when you try to grasp it, there's nothing to hold on to. It's constantly breaking apart, moment by moment. Then come feelings, Vedana, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. These are like bubbles on the surface of the water, bright, fragile, and gone in an instant. They arise so quickly and vanish almost before we even notice them. Next is perception, sana, how we label and recognize things. The Buddha compared it to a mirage in the desert. It seems so real, but the closer you get, the more it fades away. What we take as solid truth may simply be an image shaped by our minds. Fourth are the mental formations, sakra, our thoughts, reactions, habits, and desires. They shape how we respond to the world. Before continuing, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to get more of these thought-provoking videos. These formations are like the layers of a banana tree. When peeled back, they reveal no fixed core, just more layers of patterns and conditioning. And finally, there's consciousness, via, the knowing that arises at the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The Buddha said that this, too, is like a magic trick, a show of light and shadow, appearing real for a while but lacking lasting substance. When we deeply examine these 5 aggregates, we uncover something quite startling: there is no unchanging, solid self residing within them. There's only movement, process, and causes and conditions constantly playing out. So then, who is the I that owns, controls, or commands this life? This leads us to one of the Buddha's most profound insights: anatta, or not self. This doesn't mean we cease to exist, nor does it imply that life is meaningless. It simply means that there is no separate, permanent self at the center of it all. What we call me is a stream shaped by the body, feelings, memories, thoughts, and awareness. But no single part of the stream owns the stream. Now, hearing this can be unsettling. Even if it makes intellectual sense, our hearts may resist it. We may experience a wave of unease. If there is no solid self, then who am I? And what about my life, my pain, my love, my hopes? Was it all just an illusion? This question isn't a mistake, nor is it a sign of weakness. It's the very doorway to a deeper truth. When we begin to feel the ground shifting beneath what we once called the me, it's natural to feel uncertain. However, this uncertainty isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning of a deeper kind of seeing. It's right here, in this tender moment of questioning, that we turn to the next part of our reflection. One that brings not confusion, but clarity. Not despair, but meaning. Why your effort matters. Let's stay with the question that was just asked, not to rush past it, but to truly honor it. If nothing lasts, then was it all meaningless? This isn't just an intellectual puzzle, it's a cry from the heart. It comes from someone who has loved deeply, worked hard, and sacrificed much. To feel this question isn't a weakness, it's a sign of someone who cares. It shows that life has mattered to you. And so, it deserves more than a quick reply, it deserves deep listening. Because what the Buddha taught was never meant to erase the value of your life. In fact, it was meant to reveal its true value, one that doesn't vanish when time passes or when forms fade away. Often, we confuse two very different things, that which is impermanent and that which is worthless. But they are not the same. Imagine this, a skilled sculptor is entrusted with a rare block of jade, not forever, but for a limited time. She knows this. Still, she pours her whole being into the work. Every cut of the chisel, every moment of stillness and care, comes from years of discipline. When the time is up, the owner comes to take the sculpture away. Please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more insightful content, we truly appreciate it. The form is gone. But the refinement, patience, inner mastery, that can never be taken. Our lives are like this. Maybe you raised children. Maybe you built a company. Maybe you cared for a sick parent or taught a classroom full of restless children. These are your sculptures. They live for a time in the world, and yes, one day they may pass. But the strength, tenderness, and clarity you cultivated in doing them, those are yours. They do not fade. They are carried in the very fabric of your mind. These inner qualities, resilience in failure, patience in difficulty, honesty under pressure, compassion in pain, are not accidents. They are the real fruits of your effort. The world may see what you've built, but only you know who you've become through the building. This is where the Dhamma, the Buddha's path, offers a new lens. It doesn't tell us to stop creating. It tells us, create wisely. Strive, but not blindly. Build, but don't cling. This is what's known as the middle way, a path that avoids two common extremes. One extreme is clinging, believing that what we build will last forever, and living in fear of losing it. The other is nihilism, thinking that because nothing lasts, nothing matters. The Buddha called this the view of annihilation, acchitavada, a dead end of despair. But the path of wisdom is different. It doesn't say, stop working. It says, work from a place of clarity. This is the difference between blind effort and wise effort. Or samavayama in the Buddha's words. Blind effort is like trying to build a stone tower in the middle of a river. You labor endlessly, always afraid the current will take it away. Wise effort is different. It's like building a boat. You still use your hands, your strength, your skills. But now you understand, this vessel is not meant to last forever. It is meant to carry you somewhere. So the question is not, why bother? The real question is, what are you building with your time, your energy, your heart? Are you building a fragile monument to protect an identity that was never solid to begin with? Or are you building something that helps you, and perhaps others, cross the river of fear, confusion, and suffering? When this shift happens, everything changes. You don't give up on effort. You purify it. You turn it into something sacred. You begin to see, effort, guided by wisdom, is not the cause of suffering, it is the path to freedom. But for this to truly make sense, we must understand what allows this transformation to happen in the first place. What is the law beneath it all, the law that holds together this flowing, fragile, beautiful world? To answer that, we must now go deeper, into the very heart of the Buddha's insight, the law of interconnection. So we've seen that our efforts are not wasted. They are the very fire through which our inner strength is forged. But still, a deeper question remains. What kind of world allows for this transformation to be real? What kind of reality makes it possible for our temporary actions to have lasting meaning? This was the heart of the Buddha's awakening. What he saw under the Bodhi tree was not a new theory or belief system. It was a direct, wordless insight into the deep structure of existence. He called it Paikasamupta, dependent origination. It may sound complex, but the principle is beautifully simple. When this exists, that comes to be, with the arising of this, that arises. When this does not exist, that does not come to be, with the cessation of this, that ceases. Everything depends on something else. Nothing, no emotion, no memory, no person, comes from nowhere. A tree depends on soil, sunlight, and rain. A smile depends on kindness, on connection. Even pain depends on causes, on contact, on perception, on how the mind receives a moment. This is why life feels borrowed, because it truly is. Your body is made of earth, air, warmth, and water, none of which you created. Your thoughts are shaped by language, memory, and experience, none of which you fully control. What we call me is not a fixed thing, but a flowing pattern, woven from countless conditions coming together. But rather than making life meaningless, this view makes it deeply sacred. Why? Because when you understand that things arise from causes, you begin to see where you can make a difference. You are not a passive passenger in a predetermined ride. You are a participant in a vast, interconnected process. You don't control everything, but you influence much, especially the quality of your own mind, the ripple of your intentions, the direction of your next step. When we believe we are separate and solid, life becomes a project of constant defense. We try to hold on to what feels good and push away what feels painful. But this creates tension, anxiety, and disappointment, because conditions always change. But when we truly see that we are part of the flow, not separate from it, something softens. The struggle relaxes. You begin to live not as a frightened owner trying to hold on, but as a wise steward, caring for what has come together, knowing it won't last. And that's okay. This insight shifts our relationship with time. Impermanence is no longer a threat, it becomes a teacher. Before we continue, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our Buddhist Doctrine channel. Think of it like this. Imagine you are handed a rare musical instrument, beautiful, delicate, impossible to replace. You are told you can play it for only one day. What would you do? Would you ignore it because it will soon be gone? Or would you treat it with care, savoring every note? This human life is that instrument. Yes, it is brief. But because it's brief, it shines even brighter. Every breath, every word, every act of kindness becomes precious, because it will not come again in exactly the same way. This is what the Buddha called samvega, a sudden inner awakening, a sense of spiritual urgency. It's that moment when you realize, this life is not forever. Let me not waste it. It is not fear, it is clarity. It wakes you up from distraction and reminds you this moment matters. And what follows samvega is apamita, heedfulness, the gentle discipline to stay awake, to stay present, and to live with care. So here we are. We've stepped beyond the illusion of permanence. We've seen that everything we hold, our body, our mind, our very name, is part of a vast, impermanent web. And yet, within that web, there is still something that can be truly yours. Something that does not come from outside and cannot be taken away. That is where we now turn. The final question remains. In this great dance of cause and effect, is there anything that is not just conditioned, but chosen? Is there anything you can truly call your own? Let us go deeper and find the answer. The only thing that truly belongs to you. We have traveled far. We've looked deeply into the truth of our borrowed existence. We've seen that our efforts are not in vain, but gain meaning when rooted in wisdom. We've come to understand that everything unfolds through conditions, shifting, arising, dissolving in a vast web of interdependence. But now, we stand before the most personal, most urgent question of all. In a world where nothing can be held onto, what can you truly call your own? The Buddha's answer to this is not abstract. It is not an escape. It is a direct, empowering truth. Your intentional actions, your karma, are yours. They are the one thing that truly belongs to you. Not as punishment. Not as fate. But as possibility. Karma, in the Buddha's teaching, is not some rigid law of reward and punishment. It is the natural unfolding of cause and effect in the moral dimension of life. The crucial point is this. Your freedom lies in the present, in the intentions you plant right now. You may not control the economy. You may not change someone's opinions. You cannot hold back time or prevent old age. But in every moment, you hold the brush that paints your response. Will you meet life with resentment or with compassion? With fear or with understanding? That choice, no one can make it but you. And once made, it becomes part of you. This is why the Buddha urged his disciples to reflect again and again, I am the owner of my actions, the heir to my actions. I am born of my actions, related to my actions, and live supported by my actions. Whatever action I do, good or ill, of that I will be the heir. Think about that. Your wealth may vanish. Your name may be forgotten. Even your body, the one you've lived in your whole life, will return to dust. But the intentions you've lived by, the kindness, the honesty, the courage, these shape the very current of your being. They are not written on paper, they are written into the stream of your life itself. This is why karma is not just a law of future consequence, it is the present path of cultivation. With each wholesome choice, we build what the Buddha called inner treasure, a treasure no fire can burn, no thief can steal, and no death can touch. This treasure is cultivated through the threefold training, the path the Buddha laid out not as dogma, but as a way of shaping the mind toward liberation. First is sila, or virtue, the karma of restraint, of non-harming, of truthfulness. It is not mere morality, it is the soil from which peace grows. When your conduct is clean, the heart becomes light. You sleep without regret. You look into your own eyes without shame. From that integrity flows samadhi, concentration, a mind unburdened by guilt becomes steady and clear. It is not distracted by restlessness or regret. It settles like a still lake, able to reflect the moon of truth without distortion. And from that stillness comes panna, wisdom, not just knowing facts, but seeing deeply. The wisdom that penetrates through illusion, that sees impermanence without fear, that sees not self not as a loss, but as freedom. A wisdom that brings peace not because it escapes the world, but because it understands it. This is your true wealth. This is your real inheritance. As the Dhammapada says, contentment is the greatest wealth. So let us return, one last time, to our opening question. If life is borrowed, what truly belongs to you? Not your name, but the honesty you live by. Not your body, but the compassion you show through it. Not the world, but the way you meet it, with presence, with patience, with love. This is not a message of renunciation in the sense of rejection, it is a message of release, from the futile struggle to possess what cannot be possessed, from the sorrow of trying to hold the wind. In its place, it offers something far more lasting, a life lived with clarity, integrity, and peace. Let go of trying to be the owner of a world you cannot keep. Instead, become its artist. Take the fragile materials of this life, the joys, the losses, the moments that come and go, and shape them into something that cannot fade, a heart free from greed, a mind free from hatred, a wisdom that sees clearly and loves deeply. That, and that alone, is a legacy that truly endures. Thank you for joining us on Wisdom and Wealth. If you found this exploration insightful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content designed to bring wisdom and enrichment to your life. We look forward to continuing this journey with you.